Welcome back to the Profits of IT, the podcast where industry leaders and innovators share truth bombs, lessons, and insights you won't hear anywhere else. I'm Jim Punzenberger, your host, former MSP owner, author of $0 Advertising Strategies, and creator of ManagedProspectingSystem.com, the only IT marketing agency that lets you write your own guarantee for us. Today I'm joined by Scott Allen. Scott wears more hats than most of us own. CTO, ML, MI engineer, CIO, co-founder, etc.
Yeah.
And before all of that, he was a professional jazz guitarist. So if you think IT folks are all the same, Scott's going to change your mind. Scott, welcome to the show. Take a quick moment to say hi to our listeners.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Hello everybody out there. I appreciate the opportunity to be on, and look forward to just talking with you.
Well, I'm excited to have you on here, Scott. I know you've built an impressive career across multiple companies. Can you tell us a bit about your journey from jazz guitarist to tech leader and maybe an achievement that even surprised yourself along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. I started off as a professional musician, and was born into an entrepreneurial family. Both my parents and also aunts and uncles and just everybody owned some kind of small business. And so the school that I was learning guitar with, my teacher was Juilliard trained, and he owned the music school, and he was looking to get out of the business. So when I was 16, I bought him out and ran that music school and store for about 6 years after before selling it off. And that overlapped about 2 years with my IT career, my professional IT career. For the music school, I ran all of the IT appliances there, but we had about 12 teachers, a couple hundred students. So compared to enterprise IT as a whole, that was pretty small beans at that point. But after that, or near the end of that, my IT career really started with diagnosing and working on Windows endpoints, primarily at a technical school that was next to the college that I graduated from. And that just evolved over time into diagnosing and fixing much more complex systems, Linux servers, databases. And I really quickly got into automation because just the idea of being able to have self-healing systems has been really appealing to me. And this was back, we're talking at least 12 years ago. So long before AI
You're way ahead of the
proliferation. And
curve.
this was automation was, shell scripts running on cron jobs. That was our best automation, or, early Ansible days. Um, but so I did that for a couple of years, and teaching has always been a core component of my career. So, as soon as I would learn something, I would have somebody with me that I could teach it to as well, which really helped me understand and retain the material that I was learning. Um, since then I've founded and co-founded several other companies. Today, my main focus is Rapidemia, which is a AI-powered platform that makes scientific research more accessible and understandable for students, educators, and even doctors, patients, really anybody looking to consume scientific studies or research. And also, I'm the co-founder and senior solutions architect for DataForge IT Solutions, where we do really custom software development for a variety of different applications. We do a lot of enterprise business process software consulting there. And along with that, I write a Substack called Synapse and Steel, where I break down how technology intersects with policy, economics, and society. But really, what kind of drives my career at the core is to take complex information, make it clear, actionable, and accessible, and break down the barriers that prevent people from understanding these complex systems.
Sounds like you've had a great career so far. Um, so every guest on the Profits of IT shares a truth bomb, something that most in the industry get wrong. What would you say is the biggest misconception about AI and or IT that drives you crazy?
um, so the biggest misconception in IT that that drives me nuts, in particular with software development, is that to move faster, you have to sacrifice quality. And right now we live in a world where software is never really, it's never really a complete finished product. We're always iterating on builds, and we're always pushing products that are like 75% where they should be, or we're promising features that aren't there yet, and we're kind of selling those promises over and over again, and that's all in the name of getting things out faster. And um, there's some nobility in that cause, in pushing the boundaries of getting that stuff out faster, but you don't have to sacrifice quality to do that. In particular, in the AI age, you really don't have to sacrifice quality. And if we're talking about waiting it's 2, 3, 4 days to push something to actually round it out and make it better, then everything that I'm involved in, we always take that extra time to really pump it out. And that's been driven by my experience working with software vendors that just refuse to do that. They will take a half finished product and sell it all day long, every day. And that's just infuriating as a user. So, I mean, with AI automation, speed and quality really can reinforce each other, especially when you wire in telemetry and you write the run books up front. That's something that I require my engineers to do. Um, and it has radically changed. When I started doing that, it radically changed the output that we were able to achieve. Having that actual deliverable in vision before we actually start coding made a huge difference. Um, Biggest misconception with AI is honestly just that it's magic.
Uh,
And that's one of the biggest things that we have to battle when we work with executive teams or companies, because now every company, as I'm sure has been mentioned on this show, and I'm sure you
yeah,
run into this as well, every company wants AI this or that. They want AI somewhere in their business so they can sell it like that. And they don't realize that AI is only as good as what you give it. It is a
right.
pure, engine. So if they don't have good data, if they don't have good context, it's not going to give them a good result. And what we have found in particular with smaller shops is that it's going to take, months of time just implementing new data collection standards before we can even really start developing any type of AI solution, just because the data is not there. There's nothing for the AI to really
Uh,
go on.
that makes sense. So
Yeah.
let's talk about your superpower. I've heard you got a real knack for diagnostic triage. You want to expand on that? And how did you develop this ability?
Man, so I think I, to me, teaching is all an exercise in diagnostics, because you're taking a problem that the problem is that your student or your subject just doesn't understand something, and your goal is to get them to the point where they do understand it. And the building blocks of diagnostics are how you achieve that goal. And so this is while I was while I was doing music professionally, I got really into into hot rodding and in modifying cars and fast stuff and loud stuff. And a whole other area of diagnostics. And to me, really, if you can diagnose one thing, if you understand the core principles of diagnostics, you can apply it to anything. And so by the time I started off in IT, I had already had 5 or 6 years of diagnosing problems with cars and trucks, how to make them go faster, when they're broken, what to do with them. And I had all the experience from teaching music and that diagnostic. So by the time I hit my IT career, I had a lot of diagnostic experience already. And that was fortunate because I was not given the option to be the one thrown in the fire during these diagnostic panics when things would happen.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I just happened to be the one thrown into the chaos, and I think just the building blocks that I had already kind of set me up for success in that realm. But also, I've spent an enormous amount of time just uh, at home working with virtual machines, working with Linux machines, containers, Docker images. I mean, like all kinds of different things, Kubernetes. I mean, just doing routine tasks just over and over again, break, fix, that the whole cycle. Um, and I've always done that. When I was in high school, I made a Hackintosh build where I put a Mac OS onto a AMD running home built computer. So like I was really kind of primed for these really challenging, like network diagnostic problems or server diagnostic problems. Um, and then when I started in professional IT, I was given about 6 months to kind of get a feel for the institution I started at and how things were done there before I was given a division and started hiring people and then teaching those diagnostic skills to them so that they could then go work on primarily Windows endpoints, and scale that division.
Cool. So, nobody's perfect. Can you tell us about a mistake that taught you a lesson that you still use today?
Oh man, I I could give you a lot of mistakes, a lot of mistakes.
How about just one? I don't
But
think we
yeah,
have time for a lot.
yeah. Um, so yeah, one mistake, and this was something that I have several several client institutions I work with that use a combination of on-site data centers and cloud data centers. And there's a lot of data, a lot of like telemetry type data that goes on uh, in local data centers that's never measured because there's no real reason to measure
Hmm.
network activity across um, endpoints within a data center when you're not paying for that network activity. But once you lift that up into the cloud, all of a sudden you're paying for all that network activity,
Yeah.
and all of that starts to really matter. So there was a system that I lifted into AWS without a good grasp on how much network activity it was actually generating, and the bill spiked by about 5 times almost overnight. It was over about 18 hours, and So they had to do some
Some
backslapping with
diagnostic triage.
AWS to oh yeah, that machine came down real quick, and it took some working with AWS to get those charges knocked off. Because yeah, I did not. This was kind of early on into the conversion process of moving things into the cloud, and I did not measure that network activity correctly. So at this point, um, if we can't observe a function of a machine, we do not put it in the cloud until we can observe it, and that's just a no non-negotiable point.
Bet you haven't made that mistake again.
No, no, not that one. No.
So let's bring it home. What's exciting you most right now in your world with your businesses?
So the what's exciting me the most really is Rapidemia. So like I said earlier, Rapidemia makes scientific research easier to read for the general public. And what really excites me about this is I've been somebody who consumes medical research and primarily medical research, some like general scientific, but usually if I'm reading articles, it's or like scientific research. Usually it's about medicine, and that's just because I'm interested in pharmacology and things like that. And it is the barrier to understanding how to read scientific research is huge. It takes a lot to be able to actually understand what they're talking about. And with Rapidemia, I think we have the opportunity to make a huge impact in, for example, um, how patients understand conditions that they're diagnosed with, or how they understand treatments that they're being given. When their doctor can print them out, like, hey, there was this study done by the National Institute of Health that showed, your if they're diabetic, their A1C level is this or whatever, and it breaks it down into something that just about anybody can read and understand. It uses metaphors and comparisons,
Hmm.
um, and uh, and I think that has the potential to make a huge impact in that field and a couple other fields. Some of the other services that we offer along with that are um, basically population translations. So if you are like a chemical company and you have a bunch of material data safety sheets, we can translate those safety sheets into um, easily consumable languages for or easily consumable content for different populations. So if it needs to be at the level of a like doctor or cardiologist, we can translate it
Hmm.
specifically to them. If it needs to be at like a nurse practitioner level, we can do it to them. Patient level, we can do it to them. We offer like some bespoke type services for things like that as well. And it's really exciting to be able to democratize the access to knowledge in education and healthcare. And really, the overall vision there is a world where science behind treatment or policy is as easy as reading the news. And I think we're getting there. We've gotten some great feedback from our beta testers and our partner institutions. So I'm really excited about that. Also, I'm really enjoying writing my Substack, which you can get to at
Hmm.
officialmscott.substack.com. And there I talk about really technology and public policy and where those two kind of meet. And those both of those things are what's the most exciting for me.
Cool. So we'll include the Substack information in the show notes. Is there any other ways that
Excellent.
would be good for people to connect with you?
Other than that, you can go to my beacons link, which is beacons.ai / official_M Scott, and you can see my other stuff there. But I'm also on LinkedIn as Scott Allen, and that's where you can reach me.
Great. Well, Scott, thank you for sharing today. It's been a wonderful episode.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
And those listening, don't forget that this episode is brought to you by ManageProspectingSystem.com, the system that helps IT businesses escape the feast and famine cycle of referrals and build consistent growth. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, stay hydrated and caffeinated. Bye for now.